to be a good man, you've got to be a smart man. Now, I'm not talking college educated. You know, you got your 4-year degree, whatever kind of degree you have. That's definitely not what I'm talking about. If you ain't already, hit that like button, subscribe for me if you don't care. But I'm talking about real smarts, stuff that actually matters in life, things that's going to help you and improve your life. It's going to help your family, your friends, help you create a better life for yourself. There's all kinds of opinions on what smart is. And I'm not going to say any of them's wrong. Everybody has their own opinions, but this is just mine. For what it's worth, out of my 50 years, this is the things I've learned that I think people need to be smart about. When you have kids, you have to be smart with how you discipline them, how you reward them, and you can't go against what your wife says in front of the kids. Now, what I'm saying, or what I mean, if you're out in public at a family, friend gathering, whatever, now if mama gets on the kids, whether you agree with her or not, a smart man goes along with her in that particular time. But now once you and mama's alone, you can discuss her actions and whether you thought they were right or wrong or whatever. But the smart choice is to go along in front of everybody because that's your personal business. And you don't want the kids to look at her in a different way, and you don't want to look at you like, oh, daddy's taking up for us. You do that, that is a very unsmart thing to do because you're setting a standard for your kids that's going to follow them and you the rest of their life. But besides kids, I mean, you have to be smart enough to take care of your family. You've got to be smart enough to take care of your home. I mean, you've got to know what to do in any situation. You got to be smart enough to know, okay, if I have a kitchen fire, what am I going to do? If something happens in the middle of the night, which I'm from the South, we get a lot of tornadoes, are you prepared for that? You got to be smart enough to be ready for all those situations because your family's dependent on you. I mean, when a disaster strikes, you're the go-to. Everybody's looking to you to take care of the situation and to handle it. So you've got to be smart enough to know this stuff. Now, like I said, books, hey, if you know books, you're book smart, that's wonderful. But that's not what I'm talking about. That's not what helps a family get through life. That might help you get a good education and maybe a good job if you're lucky. But that's not going to help you in real life. I mean, you got to know how to change a flat tire on a car. You know, it's simple stuff. It's simple stuff, but you've got to know these things. I mean, you're okay when you're young. You start out young, working. You know, you're working around older guys, experienced guys, who are very knowledgeable on what they're doing, and you've got to be smart enough to know when to be quiet and just listen. And then you also got to know and be smart enough to know when to ask for help or ask for people's opinion or their thoughts on a situation. And you're not going to ever know all the answers. Them old hands, they ain't going to know every answer all the time. But that just follows you through life. I mean, even as you get older, like I am, you've got to be smart enough to know that you don't know everything. You got to be humble enough to admit it and smart enough to admit it and ask questions. Now, just because you don't know the answer to something does not mean you're not smart. What I mean is smarts, having enough smarts to ask for help when it's needed or ask for an opinion or have somebody to look at something. That's what I'm talking about when I say smart. Stuff that's really going to make a difference in your life and help you get through it. Now, you have to be, as the man of the house, you have to be smart enough to deal with financials. You got to know what you can, what you can't spend. I mean, you got to know what your family's needs are. And you have to be smart enough to know that. I mean, that's life. That's what we live for, is to take care of our family, help our family. But you have to be smart enough to know how to do those things. I mean, and they're not for people where I was raised and in my generation. It's just common sense stuff. But that was stuff we were taught growing up. That was stuff we were taught by our parents, our aunts and uncles, our grandparents. And in today's times, a lot of that generational knowledge that we considered common sense was passed down, is not being passed down the same way. Now, I don't know what's changed in this world to make people not pass that knowledge down, but they just don't. I don't know why. But you've got to be smart enough to know that you don't know it all and that you need help with things. You got to be smart enough to know when to ask for help. Smart enough to know who to ask for help. I mean, what are you going to do? Internet goes down. You ain't got YouTube. You ain't got Google. How are you going to know to do anything? How are you going to know to hook a generator into your house and make it work when you don't have power for 2 or 3 weeks and it's freezing cold outside and you don't have a wood stove? You got to be able to be smart enough to know how to survive and keep your family alive. Now, I know that's some dramatic stuff, and that odds are it'll never happen. But if it does, what are you going to do? How are you going to support your family then? No electricity, no central unit. Hey, go get a kerosene heater. Do you know what that is? Do you know where one's at? How to use one? I mean, do you have just some standard supplies, food on hand that you could live off of? Water, you know where to get water. Are you smart enough to figure out how to either boil water or filter water so you've got clean water? I mean, these are the things you have to know. As a man of the house, it's your responsibility. That falls on you. Now, I don't know. I know today's times is different. Women's rights, and which is great. Don't get me wrong. I ain't saying it's not. But as the man of the house, all that falls on you. You don't depend on your wife to take care of things. You be able to take care of it. Now, if she does things, that's wonderful. If she wants to help and she knows how, if she's willing, well, that's great. But she shouldn't have to. That's your job. If you're going to be a good man, you've got to be a smart man and smart enough to know how to take care of every situation and save your family when they need saving. I mean, that is 100% your main goal in this life, is to take care of your family. You have to be smart enough to know how to do that. Well, that's it for this one. Y'all have a good one.